that you need to treat every issue like it's there first. Somewhere along the line, he said that. Kevin Smith has always taken inspiration from aspiration. He's always been inspired by him. That's what I meant to say.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweet, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
Dude, if you got a problem, yo, I solved it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
I was jamming with you, bro. I know you can beatbox, yo. This is the after-hour remix with Nerdentials.
Ricky, what?
Sorry, let me rephrase that. With the Matthew Johnson
remix.
Anyway, I've got absolutely no segues right now. I figure we'll just cut right into it.
Welcome to Nerdentials. Oh, that's your line. My bad. Sorry.
That would have been great. We could have rolled with that one. You didn't have to stop.
Oh.
And in fact, I can't do this forever, guys. I can't be the lead host forever.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
All I'm saying is, let's build some. I need to build some confidence in my team, clearly. Shall we start over?
Take two. Cinco.
Do you want to man this one?
Do what? Oh.
Do you want to take this one on?
Roll this beautiful bean footage, bud.
It'll be the first. I think
Come on.
we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and this is going to be. Side note: this is going to be episode 40 right now. This is episode 40.
We've had 40 episodes.
Yeah. Let's talk about it after you intro the episode.
Boy.
Do you want to do it? Episode 40, big guy. Come on, do the intro for us.
I'm kind of nervous right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put it. I didn't mean to. Do you want some help? Do you need to loosen up a little bit? Take two. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
This is episode 40. If they don't know that we cover movie, comic books, and video games,
I'm gonna misquote him right now, but I believe Stan Lee once said that you need to treat every issue like it's there first. Somewhere along the line, he said that. Kevin Smith has always taken inspiration from aspiration. He's always been inspired by him. That's what I meant to say.
That didn't sound like Stan Lee. It sounded more like
Excelsior. You know what? No, that ain't Bill Cosby's. Why are you bringing him up?
Bing Crosby.
Oh
My God.
Take three.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one here. Got a lot of good outtakes. We'll maybe save some of it for the end. I don't know yet.
I just realized my cheeks
An appropriate
are
intro.
red right now.
What's wrong with your cheeks? What?
My cheeks are red. Can you tell that? Or is it just me?
I'm really red right now, but the LED blue of our screen is...
And don't worry, the pink of the headphones offsets it completely.
Are you making fun of my kitty your headphones?
Never.
Hey, he finally guys, he finally came to the plate for the discussion we're not going to have tonight.
We're cool with it.
You know that the Hello Kitty Island adventure we always talk about? That's good.
Hey, come on. Can we record an episode, Meow?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Right, Meow?
Hey, Matthew, would you like to? I was excited about what you were doing earlier. I want to give you the opening again. Do you need that massage, or can you just do it?
Come on, Matt.
I think you should just do it.
We got faith in you.
Welcome to Nerdentials. I'm your host. I screwed it up again.
You're fine.
Take four.
We're having fun. I want you to do this.
Oh, starting now. Oh.
Whatever. I'm not counting anything down. Stop. We're not even live, dude. You ain't gotta be on the spot here. Come on. I'm having fun watching you mess up.
Alright. Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials, covering comic books, TV, video games, movies, and anything in between in that area. I'm your host, Matt, followed by the guy to my right, Mr. Joe Tweetin.
Been here a while. It has been a while.
And over in the ether,
Across the way
across.
I don't know how I'm going to edit this, but go ahead and call him out.
Pointing this way. Pointing this way.
No, call him out. Don't matter. Call him out.
Mr. Nick Thomas.
Hello, I am Sancho.
I am Matthew Johnson. This is Joe Tweeden and Nick Thomas. How about that?
That was fast and lightning and very professional.
And sexy.
Thank you, sir. Right here. Bring it in. Okay. We made it. And you guys might be wondering why Matthew introduced us all. It's because I wanted to change it up, guys. We wanted to change it up. You know why? Because today is episode 40. 40.
Oh, that felt good. Sorry. I apologize.
No, I don't think the recording picked that up. Ah, that had to have been picked up. I'm going to enhance that one and make it echo. I really hate it when Matthew cracks his neck, in case you guys haven't noticed. Over the 2 years, 1.5 years, hasn't been 2 years yet. We're almost there.
A death look, just.
But episode 40, yeah, it's a milestone of sorts. Nerdentials has hit middle age.
Why do people say that's middle age? 50 is middle age.
If you're optimistic.
I mean,
I'm just saying, if you're gonna live to 100, yes, I'm excited for 50. What?
I'll live to 100. I'll live past 100.
Yeah, you will, you redheaded Irish. I got no words to say.
I'm a magic man.
In many ways. I'll leave it at that.
The power of the ginger.
Matthew, thank you for that intro.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful first one, guys. Give him an applause right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll put that in.
Number 5.
No. Oh, that's a reference to Mr. Barry.
You caught it that time? I said it first, but never mind.
Anyway, moving on. Sorry if I missed things.
Mr. Barry, miss your face.
Shout out to Mr. Barry.
Alright, yeah.
Alright, guys. Anyway, episode 40. We've lingered on long enough. It's going to be interesting to cut this together.
Booyah.
But here we are. And we are... Let me just... There we go. Let's make it even. You leaned in a little more to the mic, which you usually don't do, but I appreciate it.
Well, you always tell me I'm quiet, so I figured I better just...
You are. I've had quite a time editing the previous episode. I'm kidding. Anyway.
Last 39 episodes.
I know.
We were technically like 30 episodes.
Anyway.
I wasn't on 9 of them.
Guys, it's going to be kind of an out-of-place episode, because it's episode 40. The Mr. Lynn Dudgeon could not make it today, because he is literally on his deathbed. He's just really
figuratively
sick.
Speaking.
He's really sick.
It's just a mild case of Diflucus of the blowhole.
And a lot of us didn't know he had a blowhole before, but thank you, Nick, for shedding light on the case.
I'm here for you.
That being said, Lynn, we miss you tonight. We understand. So we'll conclude with our
dripping.
We'll conclude with our E3 coverage, the Sony and Nintendo side of things. But we thought, because of the scenario, and because all of us are Xbox players,
E3, yay!
that we'll do a quick traditional Nerdentials episode, since Lynn is absent.
Yes, and since now he's pretty much the only PS4 player.
That was one of the biggest reasons. Yes.
I would say Nintendo, but you have a Switch too, so I don't know.
And I have a 64.
He has a Nintendo too.
I have a 64.
Lynn's actually a Switch owner now. I know. Let's all. It's anyway. Tonight is gonna be a little bit of the film and TV talk, mostly movie trailers, because we recently realized prior to recording that Comic-Con dropped a doozy on us, and so there's a lot of movie trailers that have recently dropped.
Indeed.
Said doozies.
Really close to my gamer tag.
Why
do you gotta keep...
This is not a gaming centric episode, so going forward,
doozy. Come on.
There's a quick note here I'd like to make. It's very small. We have a little bit of listener feedback. It's been a moment since we've done this, so you know what? I'm gonna throw in there that little segue called listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
Oh. Wait,
there it is. All right.
Now that we've already done it.
Oh, Now that it's happened. Hey guys, welcome to listener feedback. So, this week, well, not this week. We're recording a little ahead of time. We release things a little out of time. Recently, in the last month, we've got a very lovely bit of feedback / appreciation from a listener. Like to call out a certain Ms. Frankie, who we mistakenly thought was a guy not too long ago when we were doing other listener feedback. And
so 22?
I made that awkward again. So we'll move past that part. So anyway, one of our long listeners who's listened to a lot of our stuff wrote an Instagram post promoting us, and we deeply appreciate that, miss. The other feedback, the main feedback she wrote, is that she loves our stuff, and she'd love to be on an episode at some point. I think we're not above making that happen. We want to connect with you guys, our listeners out there. Click on our Discord link down below and join the chatter. And like her, you guys can reach us through Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. But Frankie, thank you for your feedback. We appreciate the fact that you've enjoyed all the stuff we've put out up to this point, and hope you continue listening into the future.
For the shout-outs.
Yes, and
we appreciate the shout-outs.
Thank you for promoting Nerdentials.
To a young demographic.
Yeah, we know we don't hit every age group, but thank you for being a fan nonetheless. And we'll do a special episode in the not too far future.
Am I doing a heart?
Maybe you can join your brother-in-law, Mr. Lin. I think that might be
a good. Better than mine.
That might be a good fit. What? This thing?
Yeah, I can't do it apparently.
You're at the wrong angle.
I'm at the wrong angle.
Turn it towards the screen. Turn it towards the screen.
Like put the bottom there out a little bit. There you go. For you guys on the podcast that have no idea what we're doing, Nick and Matt are making heart symbols with their hands. So now that let's move past that awkwardness, guys. Let's get into the main conversation tonight. Movie trailers. So let's get into Movie Matters. Hey guys, welcome to Movie Matters. This week we're not talking about any particular movies at length. We did just get the Comic-Con not too long ago, recently, in fact, in the last couple weeks at the time of the release of this episode. And so there's some trailers of some really great movies coming out and some questionable movies that we decided we would give our thoughts and discuss about. So, Nick, I know you've got a list in front of you, or at least I hope you do, of the movies that we've watched. So why don't you kind of guide us title by title, and we will have discussions upon those titles.
Alright, first one on our list. I actually saw this trailer today, and I was stoked, because they've been talking about it forever. There's always that wish as a child in our childhood that we'd be a superhero. This one's about a child that becomes a superhero. Back to the original Captain Marvel.
Wait, whoa.
I mean, Mr. Marvel, sorry. Back to Mr. Marvel. Shazam. Starring Zachary Levi from one of my favorite shows, Chuck. And this comes out in April of 2019.
Hey, right around my birthday.
April what? Wait, say that again?
And your birthday.
April of 2019.
April,
I don't have the exact date.
IMDb says April 5th, so we'll hold them to that for now.
2 days after my birthday. That's going to be a great present.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, so...
We'll see it together. How about that?
We all saw the trailer.
No, he said we'll see it together.
No, we'll see it together.
Oh, the movie, yes. Dude, I know. I know. Sorry.
I don't know where he's at.
I'm here now. I'm present. I can hear you. Let's talk about the trailer itself.
I like what DC decided to do with this one because everyone's been complaining DC's too dark. DC's too dark. Superman, they didn't like it because it was too dark. Batman, they didn't like it because it was too dark. And this one,
yes.
They throw dark out the window, and it just really lighthearted, witty.
It leans into the comedy.
Yeah, and I actually like it. It's kind of like almost like a coming of age type thing, even though goes from a kid to a giant,
kind of. He's
adult human.
He's kind of preteen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you can tell he acts that out even when he's in his superhero side.
Like even in the comic books, he's the kid, but
Billy
nobody
Batson.
knows.
DC has done an interesting. I know it's the Comic-Con trailers, but I'm really surprised at this. It's not just a minute and a half trailer, and traditional form. We're getting the teaser, we're getting trailer 1, then trailer 2. This came out with and I know it's Comic-Con, but almost a 3-minute trailer on these that we're about to talk about, specifically Shazam this time, and they covered enough to give you a really solid idea of the direction and plot, but I don't, at least at this point, this I hope is not considered a teaser. I hope this is considered the trailer, because Lord knows they released 3 of these before the movie comes out. I really hope that they don't reveal too much more, because I feel like they gave enough of the mood and tone and the general plot. Billy Batson, preteen kid, a foster kid at that, being taken in by this family, getting just beaten up by the bullies of the world, finds himself on a subway, at least in this trailer. And a quick warning, guys, go watch all these trailers. They're all in the show notes, but we will be talking about what was revealed in the trailer. So if you wanna stay clear of plot, just look at the timestamps in the episode and skip to the next thing, or at least watch the trailers. So, that being said,
and those links will be down below.
Yeah, we'll have the links in the description of this show. Billy Batson, continue on, finds himself on a subway, heading home or wherever for the day, and then the train stops and does this weird magical thing, and next thing you know, this wizard-like individual comes to him and basically imbues him with his power, kind of like a passing of the torch kind of scene. And next thing you know, this preteen kid now has the ability to summon upon. He now gets to be Superman, and we didn't see it in the trailer.
Well, not Superman, but yes.
He gets to be his idol, Superman. The only reason I say that, it's not in the trailer, but from press notes and other information, we know Henry Cavill, who is Superman from the movies, is going to have a cameo somewhere in here. It might be in the end credits.
No, it's directly tied in with the DC cinematic universe. So,
okay, well, let me just conclude, and then Nick, I will look to you for the deeper notes that you understand. We know on the surface, just the public in general, that Henry Cavill has some cameos in here. I don't know at what length those are. I'll let Nick speak on that. But essentially, Billy Batson is aware of the existence of Superman, and hopefully, maybe not on the level of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Hopefully, Tony Stark's, presence was fairly at a minimum. Hopefully, with this, Henry Cavill is literally just kind of more or less the idol that Billy Batson looks up to. And so what we got to see in the trailer is a bunch of little scenarios where he's Shazam. He doesn't know what his abilities are. And with what seems like his best friend is discovering those as he comes across them. And so the trailer seemed like a lot of fun. I'm going to pass it off to you guys. What do you think? Matthew.
I thought it was actually pretty lighthearted. Which, for me, Shazam is a very lighthearted character to begin with, because he is a kid. Kind of like Spider-Man, kind of like The Flash. I like those types of characters. And I think who they have portraying Shazam is a perfect choice.
You like the Zachary Levi
man.
choice? You like the Zachary Levi choice?
Yes.
I know a lot of people were upset about it.
I mean, I don't think I could see anybody else doing it. That's very lighthearted. That's, I don't know, superhero-y.
Like on a side note, Nick, I haven't really heard any of the negativity. I know they were a lot of people were bashing the early production photos of his suit, and they were saying that it looked cheesy, cartoony, and it was pre-production, so it didn't have the right lighting.
It still is cheesy and cartoony, but I love it. It lends to some of the lightheartedness.
I will completely agree, but I will also point out that the production photos that the people saw that they were criticizing was like broad daylight, like very primary red and yellow colors. But in the trailer, there's texture and tone to the post-production. So although the character's personality and the look of his suit can still be characterized as cheesy, I don't feel like it looks as cheesy as people were criticizing it pre-post.
Well, traditionally, Shazam, the character in the comic books, is portrayed almost big and hulking, like boxer style, with this big, gigantic, strong chin.
Sure.
And Zachary Levi doesn't really exude that feel.
Right.
But
he did get not like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock stacked, because he doesn't have the frame for it, but he did work out. He did a lot of social media posts where he showed, like, this guy is really backing up his role. Like, he's been really headstrong against all the criticism. He's had a lot of positive words, and I've really appreciated Zachary Levi for this. But he did bulk up for this role. Like, it's not complete. It's not just the suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Overall, guys, like, about the trailer,
stoked.
where it looks exciting and that, like, to
does.
me, like, in contrast to our previous DC offerings in the movies.
Yes.
I think they're like with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which we're going to talk about next. I think there is some good trajectory that we're seeing in these movies.
Well, and it's definitely going to be a change to see him, see how it goes going from Marvel to DC.
Now, reinform me on his Marvel role, because I'm a little vague on that.
Oh. Since the second movie, Thor Dark World, he replaced the original actor for Fandral. He's been Fandral the last 2 movies.
Remind me, you can take my nerd card if you want, but is that a Thor character?
The ones the 3 that go with Thor.
They've been largely left out of the last couple films. That's why it got really weird when they started making casting changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
Jamie Alexander, who played Sif as one of the 3, basically armored crew with Thor, friends of Thor.
Yeah, Sif isn't part of the Warriors 3, but the Warriors 3 include Hogun, Fandral, and Volstagg.
What role did Sif... just a side note, because we can cut this part out, but what did Sif play? I mean, who is Sif to Thor?
Sif is just another warrior of the planet. She's kind of what took over what the Valkyrie were.
Oh, so she had nothing to do with being the Warriors 3? Ever?
Nope. She was actually... Lady Sif was a love interest for Thor for a long time. That's why she's so heartbroken about the whole thing with Foster.
With Natalie Portman, who's no longer involved, and now we've lost Lady Sif, seemingly, in the movie.
Actually, she wasn't there when everything went down, so we don't know what happened.
I know. Well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean that we've conclusively gotten a plot indication of what's happened to her, but yeah. She wasn't in Infinity War anywhere. She wasn't in Thor Ragnarok anywhere. And granted, they were in talk. The Valkyrie herself was more of the focus with that as a side plot.
Well, Lady Sif is another goddess in Thor mythology.
They've played very lightly.
She's a goddess,
Yeah, but they've indicated next to nothing in regards to the films about that role.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Well,
and back to movie trailers.
Back to
Sorry about that.
Shazam. No, it's tangents happen, and this is all kind of relevant anyway. So Shazam's definitely the lighthearted angle DC should take to bring in an audience that may have not liked the dark angles they were taking. And the comedy looks solid. I'm excited about this one.
I would
Same here.
Directed by David F. Sandberg, who's nothing really like he's known for some horror movies. So I don't know where his comical stance is going to come out of. All of his Lights Out, Pictured Not So Fast, Kofer, Attic Panic, Closet Space, Lights Out, and he directed Annabelle.
Yeah, he does a lot of shorts.
So shorts and one horror film, and this guy's going to direct the DC comedy superhero film. Should be interesting.
From the trailer?
To be fair, the next film we're about to talk about, Aquaman, is also directed by a horror film expert, James Wan.
Yes.
So, I think that was a good segue. I'm not going to edit that, Nick, if you're cool with jumping into the Aquaman talk.
Why do I feel
For sure.
Why do I feel I should know that name?
James Wan?
Saw?
You definitely should know James Wan.
Yeah, hold on. James Wan.
Saw.
He is known as a writer for the original Saw. He didn't direct it.
He's a good writer.
He's a producer for The Conjuring 2. He directed Furious 7.
Yeah, and he was the
Director of the first Conjuring.
executive producer of all the Saws from 2 to 6.
So he's heavily involved.
No, 7. Yeah.
Yeah, heavily involved in that. So
Annabelle Lee, Demonic, Insidious.
James Wan.
Yes. Okay. See, I knew that name. And Saw is actually one of my favorite freaking horror movies. Just for the simple fact that it was like a different take on a horror movie.
Nerdentials fans will be familiar with Matt's interest in the Saw franchise.
Yes.
But no, it seems like Aquaman, once you watch that trailer, like watch it now real quick. Just give it a second.
Click play.
Click play, pause us, and come back. Hey.
But now that you saw that, it's the other end of it. It's not the dark. You still have the seriousness behind it, but there's almost like they did the Thor treatment to this, where you get the action, the actual action hero. It's not superhero nitty gritty. This is what's going on. It's you get some origin. You get some best way I could put it is Jason Momoa badassery.
Right.
Oh wait, sorry.
Wrong movie. However, the other thing that can be said for director James Wan and his direction for this film, he's quoted, I don't have the article in front of me, but he was quoted as describing this film in his own words as being Indiana Jones under the sea. The trailer did show quite an epic nature to it, with a flurry of locations underwater and above land. He's even quoted as saying that Aquaman will be more global than just one location, and it won't be completely under the sea. The thing I thought was interesting is the brief scene we saw in
Under the Sea. On the sea. Sorry.
The brief scene we saw in sorry to bring this movie up, guys.
Justice League. Is that?
But hold on, hey, you guys.
Did you lose your track of thought
I'm
or
not.
something?
The only thing I'm referencing is a brief stint under the sea. Here we go. Now in Justice League,
Right.
we're not going to talk about the quality of that film. We're not going to talk about the plot. We're not going to talk about anything other than the scene where they showed Jason Momoa underwater with Mira briefly in a water scene, presumably near Atlantia. And in that scene, the thing I was most impressed about, just in that scene alone, was just how good it looked seeing them underwater with their hair moving and waving, and it didn't look particularly overly CG'd or anything like it didn't look overly animated or super cheesy. It looked well structured. You know, I can't say the same for the main bad guy in that damn movie. But we're not talking about the villain of that film. We're just talking about the Aquaman scene. Right. Now, go back to the trailer. For Aquaman, we got to see a lot of that. We got to see Arthur Curry, Jason Momoa, talking in underwater scenes where it sounds a little tunnely, but it didn't seem like blue 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 blue. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a little fantasy. You guys got to suspend your disbelief for some of these moments, but his hair was waving as if underwater while he was saying a few lines, and I thought this is going to be really interesting to see play out in the full film. So I'm very curious as to what that's going to look like. What did you guys think overall? Overall, they said Indiana Jones, but I saw just a small flavoring of like Lord of the Rings, like large armies above sea and below sea.
I would more go towards that route.
I don't know how much of this is going to be. Indiana Jones is a little more intimate, a little more action-adventure intimate. A lot of the scenes we saw seemed kind of on a larger scale, so I'm excited, but I'm also kind of like holding my breath to see how some of those epic scenes played out. The one scene I can appreciate out of Justice League was it was completely misplaced and completely convoluted that Wonder Woman would be sharing an epic tale of fantasy to Cyborg in the middle of the alley about the history of the Atlanteans and the Amazonians fighting it out and fighting the new gods.
Right.
Very misplaced in that movie. But that was kind of the scale that I'm seeing here in this Aquaman trailer. So I'm going to shut up now and let Matt and Nick share some thoughts on this.
Go ahead.
There's a lot I'm actually excited about. You're getting a lot of the history and a lot of the rogues closet for Aquaman real fast. His brother, ruler of Atlantis. You're getting, if anyone caught it, Black Manta.
Mm-hmm.
And they're keeping his look like the massive helmet, like comic book authentic. I love it.
I'm sorry, that was sexy. I think he's going to be the Killmonger of the DC universe. He's going to kind of fill that role.
Possibly.
And I think he's going to kind of fill that really well. The other one we saw, I'm trying to remember, I think they're called the Tritons. When he's jumping off the boat with the flares in hand and those gnarly looking critters that are there all surrounding the boat and like going after him. I think those are called Tritons. It's another underwater race like the Atlanteans, but they're kind of like feral. I like who they picked for Arthur Curry's father.
Hold on.
Tamora Morrison is...
Thomas Curry, his father.
Yeah. You'll most know him for like Boba Fett.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, snap. Yes, that was him.
Yeah.
Oh, and small known fact, sorry fans if you hate me for this reference, but in the 2011 Ryan Reynolds film of Green Lantern, he played the purple alien Abin Sur.
He did, yes.
He did. He did. And there's nothing to apologize about there. I'm one of the few people that loved Green Lantern. I'm sorry. It was awfully written.
Enter
and the CG
hate
sucked.
mail.
But Ryan Reynolds.
And now we lost
fantastic.
about 15
of our listeners. You're right. He played Jango Fett, though, as far as Star Wars goes.
And
Go
young
on.
Boba Fett.
Go on, dude. Go on. So,
And I kind of like the you kind of see in the trailer the underwater fight scene when they're in like this arena type thing.
that was kind of
And
cool looking.
it's almost treated less like a gladiatorial combat, and the way the people are reacting on the outside more like a soccer game or something.
Right.
Just like, ah!
There was, they kind of inserted a little bit of like comical peppering into the film by kind of showcasing this like sporting event reaction of a crowd
Right.
underwater.
Epic sea creatures. Whole
lot
bunch
of
of
them.
whole bunch of big actors.
Let me list a couple.
Nicole Kidman.
She plays.
go ahead.
Sorry, no, you're on the right path. Nicole Kidman is Queen Atlanta, so that's like Arthur Curry's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Someone not as well known, but Amber Heard is going to be playing kind of the Arthur Curry love interest of Mira. She's been in films like The Rum Diary, 3 Days to Kill, Machete Kills. That was an interesting movie. And she obviously in Justice League she made that brief cameo as Mira. Other actors though, we've got Patrick Wilson who's playing Orm, the Ocean Master. You got Dolph Lundgren as King Nereus, and Willem Dafoe
Yeah.
as it looks like Nuitus Volko. Are you familiar with that character, Nick?
Yeah, he's kind of he's the person that teaches all Atlanteans magic.
Oh, okay.
Because
Interesting.
in Atlantis, there's the warriors and then there's the sorcerers. There's actually a lot of magic to go along with the science behind it.
Every time I think of William Dafoe, though, I'm always thinking of
Willem.
Hobgoblin. Or Green Goblin. Oh, sorry, Willem Dafoe.
Or any of you
My bad.
Boondock Saints fans, he played the detective, the cross-dressing.
True, yeah.
That's the first movie I
detective.
ever think of with Willem. That
Saints,
one. And,
Saints, Boondock
Yeah,
Saints.
Saints is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
when I think
did
of
you
Willem
list
Dafoe-
Patrick Wilson?
Yeah, Patrick Wilson is playing Orm. He was in the trailer there. We see briefly.
And last time we saw him, technically in a DC movie, was Watchmen.
I was gonna say, was that Watchmen? Where he was?
Oh, and he was
He
a
was
little
Owlman.
He was
Yeah.
he was Owlman, and he had a little bit of weight to him too at that time.
Yeah.
Watchmen was a good movie. Anyway, back on track. So,
He's a good bad guy.
Nick,
Yeah, man.
you and me have exploited a lot of details. Matthew, overall concluding thoughts on the Aquaman trailer?
And my concluding thoughts is this one's probably, like I said before, it's gonna save DC. I think that and Shazam.
It's going to at least continue bolstering the upward trajectory for
Yes.
DC films.
It's no longer going downhill for DC. I think with these two films, they are going to be going back up.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Nick?
Yeah, I'll just leave it there. There was another trailer with DC that it was actually a TV show. Mixed feelings for people.
See,
That's
I
not-
don't put that with the DC.
This is
Big
like
movie type
Matt's
stuff.
thoughts are purely related
To
to
the
the
movies,
cinematic universe.
Yeah, not to the TV series.
We're not talking about
Teen Titans.
because the thing with the DC franchise as a whole, It's ebbed and flowed and wavered across all areas. Yeah. It's soared on primetime television. We can get into that other thing in a little bit, but
going back to Shazam for a second, just to show you where it's still all in the same universe. At 40 seconds into the trailer, I think it's 41, 42, right around there.
The Batblade.
There's not just the Batblade. He opens up the drawer and there's newspapers in there. Mm-hmm. Daily Planet, Superman, all these things. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering where both these movies are going to fall within the timeline. It almost looks like the first one here is more kind of falling towards before Justice League.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. Yeah, but
I think it might be. I think what it is it's going to be kind of during Justice League. That way, it kind of ties in like, hey, we have a new person that we want to join our team.
There's other things happening in the world during this major event. Yeah.
Yes. And then obviously Aquaman's going to be after the fact because
you think Aquaman's going to be after the movie?
Yeah.
I feel like because in the trailer,
or it's going to hit both sides.
In the trailer, he is being told. Do you guys remember the scene with Mira? Because in the trailer of Aquaman, it seems like he doesn't really know who Mira is when he meets her in the Aquaman movie trailer. But in Justice League, it seems like he knows who she is.
No,
something to think about.
I think he tries to play it off.
Well, and you're also looking at some of the origins too,
right,
in the Aquaman trailer.
They do show him as a kid, yeah.
This might fill that space where it shows a lot happening before, and then it flash forwards right to when it's happening for Justice League too.
During or right before, maybe. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I say it, I'm thinking that it's going to be after, is the fact that his brother takes the throne when the throne is still open in Justice League.
Oh, okay.
That's a small detail I'm a little foggy on.
We'll definitely have to figure out where that lies in the continuum.
Let's dig into DC a little more next time.
Maybe I took on a little bit more than I could.
All right.
That was like one of the small details that I saw from Justice League. I was like, nobody's the ruler.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. We'll come back to that. We'll look into it a little further. Because I'm sure we could dig something out of that. Nick, take us forward.
For our next movie, everyone is jumping on the bandwagon of shared cinematic universes. Everyone. And this one has a twist. A twist.
Maybe. I might be wrong. Go on, Nick.
Because all those movies have a twist.
Fantastic Beasts?
No. We're talking about our next movie is going to be the actual conglomeration of a shared universe by M. Night Shyamalan. Where we are finally getting a train wreck of movies that we didn't know were part of each other until the last few minutes of Split. Where Bruce Willis's character.
I would even say like the last 30 seconds.
30 seconds even. That was barely even a 30-second tease.
Yeah. But we are getting
when I saw that.
So we're referencing the movie Split a couple years ago, starring James McAvoy with 20 plus personalities.
22.
Yeah.
And
the personalities actually change him physically, which is intense.
Yeah, like physically, like he can go to being a little kid and being very weak physically, to being like like this strong, strapping dude that's just ready to rip you apart, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Beast.
Yeah.
Well, the Beast, all of his personalities are afraid of. Spoiler warning: if you guys haven't seen the previous ones, you need to go see them.
Yeah. And the first one that's actually started it all is Unbreakable. Bruce Willis in all his glory.
Bruce Willis,
that was a great movie.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson's in everything.
Well, this is true, but this is actually
There's some snakes on this podcast. Wait.
This is like wrong movie. This is like 16 plus years in the making, guys, because Unbreakable came out in 2000.
19 years.
Yeah, ridiculous. It was a suspense thriller where, let's see, David Dunn.
They call it a suspense thriller?
Yeah. It wasn't classified as a superhero action movie.
Yeah,
it was almost, they treated his evolution into the superhero powers as almost like a thriller, like what's going on? I don't understand this. And it was more of, they tried giving it the whole like he's scared of this, which is understandable.
Right.
And then they played the whole fact, and then.
But the general premise was he was on a train crash. 131 people died, and he didn't have a scratch on him. And then he also recalled over the years that he's never been sick, like no head colds or anything. And then he came across, was it Samuel L. Jackson, his character, that came across that started
Samuel L. Jackson came to him,
proposed a theory behind what's going on with him. And started making him believe that he was something of supernatural in nature or superhero almost.
Yep.
A superhuman.
A superhuman, as it were.
Yes. And with that storyline, I mean, he walks by some people and he could see like what's going on, and then towards like the end of the movie, he finds a bad guy and saves a family. And yeah, that movie was great. And then seeing him at the end of Split, I freaked out. Like I just went I literally screamed in the movie theater.
Yeah. And the new movie, since we haven't said it yet, is going to be called Glass.
That's Mr. Glass.
No, that's his name. The movie's called Glass.
So I want to read this description. You guys tell me if this seems accurate to what we saw in the trailer. Following the conclusion of Split, Glass finds Dunn pursuing Crumb's superhuman figure of the Beast in a series of escalating encounters, while the shadowy presence of Price emerges as an orchestrator who holds secrets critical to both men. So like Samuel L. Jackson is kind of using Dunn, Bruce Willis, to find the split personality Beast guy. But all three of these men, at least in the trailer, were being held under observation by none other than Sarah Paulson, who's listed here as Dr. Ellie Staple. So she's kind of like this psychiatrist chick who's got all three of these men under observation in the trailer. But it seems like Mr. Glass, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson, has deeper motives behind these two individuals.
He's a super genius.
Yeah, he breaks hundreds of bones. He's very fragile physically, but he has like the biggest IQ in the world.
And he can figure things out really fast. He can break out of the prison, which looks like it will happen. And at some point, he coerces the Beast into fighting Mr. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And, oh, man. James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson.
All in the same room.
Those three actors, that's powerful. Like...
And we're looking at... Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a 10 out of 10 for me, like, right off the bat. Like, I don't even care.
We're looking at a release date on that for January of 2019.
Yes.
January 18th, to be exact.
And Aquaman, since we didn't say it before, December 21st.
December 21st.
2018.
And on a side note, I think Aquaman, regardless of how, like, good it actually is, I think will do fairly well because Star Wars came out during the summer, and there is no Star Wars film slated for December, so I think it has a better chance.
Nope, the next Star Wars movie is...
Episode 9 comes out next December.
Yes, next December.
So, anyway, those are a couple side notes there, but excited to see what happens with that.
Can't wait for that. Sorry, that's a side tangent.
No, anyway, Nicholas, take us on forward.
Not all of us are excited about this as much as some of us, but I am a fan from my childhood. This has been something that's been near and dear to my heart all throughout my childhood. I've watched the black and white movies. I've watched the what was it, Matthew Broderick 1998 version of it, the 2001, the 2003, the 2007.
You liked the Broderick one?
I watched all of them.
I did too, but if I was a fan of the original Kaiju, I don't know how I'd feel about that one.
Well, I wasn't a big fan of it. There was things I liked about it and things they touched on it that they needed to.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But the thing I am talking about is the King of the Lizards. I'm talking about Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Go, Godzilla.
Wait, hold up. So not King of the Lizards?
You know what I meant. Don't start with me.
Go on.
In a world of superheroes, this is definitely one that we can't pass up. Because
hold on.
He's a superhero. I'm sorry.
Nick can't pass it up.
Hold on.
Give him a break.
Now, you said you enjoyed the originals. Like, I am a huge fan of the originals. Anything after, I think the last one was in 76. Anything after that, I'm not a big fan of.
Like,
Did you even check out the Bryan Cranston Godzilla?
It was actually really good.
I didn't.
You didn't?
To be honest. No, I'm
Then your foundation is flawed, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, the Matthew Broderick one, that one kind of actually made me giggle. More so than what
That's why I liked it. That's why I liked it. It was funny.
Yeah. But I like what really made me laugh was the French dudes.
Yeah.
We're American. Sorry.
No, it's just the new one here. It's a direct sequel to the one with Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
It makes sense because they're consistent with.
Oh, and that okay.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing you guys don't understand. I don't know if people realize this. This is going to be a shared universe. They're bringing out the Kaiju.
What? Who does that anymore? Who shares their universe?
I'm telling you,
not
everyone's on the
anyone in
bandwagon.
Hollywood.
Skull Island.
Wait, hold up.
Skull Island was their
I just
approach.
realized what the hell you just said. Kaiju.
Yeah, like
I'm
not
talking
not
Pacific
just Godzilla.
Oh my god.
On a side note, guys, I'm showing him the trailer right now, so that he can kind of just get a glimpse.
All the big creatures have always been called Kaiju.
But he actually shows off his blast from his breath ray, like the Godzilla, the classic Godzilla.
Right.
They might not tie directly in with the Pacific Rim, but there's the whole idea behind it that there always has to be.
Wait,
go on, Nick.
Is that
an alpha? Yeah, they're bringing Mothra, King Ghidorah. This is all pushing towards a big fight between Godzilla and King Kong again.
Oh, what?
That's why they did Skull Island. This is all going to tie together.
No.
Yes.
Oh, look.
They've talked about
the
this for
devil himself.
years.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry.
Well, the devil plus vampire plus whatever. Huh.
You'll have to watch that with full audio later, Matthew. I wanted to play that for you because I knew, I didn't get it jump with excitement, but I like what they're doing with it. Matt just didn't have any clue that these are the things that they were doing with it.
That actually might get me back into it. Not gonna lie. Because Mothra, that's...
Mm-hmm.
Something not to bat an eye at.
That's actually one of my favorite
Even
movies.
the Pacific Rim Uprising director has even said there is a very big possibility that they're going to do a crossover between Pacific Rim and the Godzilla franchise.
Guillermo del Toro directed the first one.
This is
And
called the Monster Verse.
Stephen S. DeKnight did the second one.
Well, at this point, why wouldn't you throw Rampage into that? No, I'm just kidding. Rampage is a video game.
Oh no. Stephen S. DeKnight directed the original Daredevil. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. That's Netflix's Daredevil season 1. Actually, is what he directed. And Spartacus.
And that's... Ooh, I like Spartacus.
And he was a writer for 2001 to 2002 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It kind of sucks that the main actor for Spartacus died. But anyways, that's a sad tangent.
That is a tangent.
Interesting.
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong is in develop right now.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
That...
There it is, 2020, guys. We're looking it up right now. And look, Denai Guerrera. Good old Michonne. It's already been cast in there. And Millie Bobby Brown to continue.
Yeah, Millie
And-
Bobby Brown is in
Kyle
Godzilla King of
Chandler.
Monsters.
Kyle Chandler. Those are the confirmed cast currently up to this point. It's in pre-production right now.
So does that bring it more exciting to you, Matt? They're bringing back the original Kaiju.
Let me give this example, Matthew. In 2020, Godzilla vs. Kong, it says, the gigantic Kong meets the unstoppable Godzilla. The world watches to see which one becomes the king of all monsters.
Godzilla.
Well, how are they going to do that, though, honestly? I mean, the Freddy versus Jason fiasco. I mean, come on. Jason walked out of the water with Freddy's head in his hand, and he blinked. Neither of them died. So what are they going to do with this franchise?
Neither one of them died.
I know, I was shooting for the stars there.
No, the Bryan Cranston one, it was kind of interesting, and it's definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it, Matt. They make it almost more suspenseful.
I feel bad, but I've gotten like a half hour into it, and I watched it back when I lived with Lynn and Robin, if you can believe that.
Yeah, it's a
Side note
slow
that's
start,
unimportant.
but it's definitely worth it.
I was excited. I just didn't hit play once I got home from Nevada. That's just one of those things that happened.
All right, the next one. I'm going to let Matt lead this one, because he's really excited about this one.
The Wizarding World with Dumbledore and Newt Scamander brings like an all-time high with Johnny Depp reprising his role as Grindelwald. And this movie looks phenomenal. And I love J.K. Rowling's mind and storytelling through this whole series of movies and new screenplays is just phenomenal. To me, to be honest, this is what should have been with Harry Potter. Like,
In her
It's a
own
darker-
in her own words, this series of movies is the darker direction she'd been itching to do during the Harry Potter writing.
Yep.
She's
Yes.
actually said that. So
Well, and there's a lot of cool things about this. Like, they introduced some characters in their younger years that we've always wondered about.
like a super young Dumbledore, played
Played
by
by?
none other than Jude Law.
which I think is a good pick, to be honest.
I want to see more.
I really don't think that I could think of anybody else that could play a young Dumbledore.
I don't know what I pictured, but like in the few phrases he says to Newt Scamander in the trailer, he had kind of just the right inflection that you could still, if you really just look at him while he's talking, you can kind of picture him turning into the Dumbledore we know.
Right. Instead of just the professor.
Yeah. But he played the professor role. Like, we got to see a recreation. Sorry, just a quick note. In the trailer, we see a young Newt Scamander about the age of Harry Potter learning the ridiculous spell
Ridiculous.
and taking their greatest fears as students and then dispelling them into something funny and goofy. And they kind of recreated that scene with Hermione and Harry Potter from the Harry Potter movies, but with a young Newt Scamander. I thought that was really cool.
It was Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban that would be in. And it was Professor Lupin that was teaching at that point.
Yes.
There's definitely some things that look really cool. Yeah.
Yes. And the fact that they're bringing back every cast member from the first movie.
From the first Fantastic Beasts, yeah.
Is just... It's very awesome.
The little side interest that I'm taking in this trailer, aside from the plot and the action, and then really seeing like Johnny Depp actually take on the role, like we're actually seeing him give some lines and actually interact with the characters in this trailer. The other aspect I'm liking, and I hope they maintain it throughout all 5 of these films, is in the title Fantastic Beasts, we're still seeing a wide array of really cool-looking creatures. Like, they showcased a couple really crazy, oddball-looking creatures in here, even ones that weren't shown in the first film, and I love that little flavor aspect to this franchise. I think it's kind of like the through line. Yes, we're getting the backstory of Dumbledore and Grindelwald, their relationship, why it fell apart. We're going to get to see some of that. And we're getting to see other wizarding schools around the world. I think we're in Paris for this one. J.K. Rowling said that she wants to visit, different parts of the world and showcase that Hogwarts wasn't the only school. And also in theme with the title Fantastic Beasts and Newt Scamander seemingly now continuing to take on that lead role, and possibly through all 5 films, we're continuing to see his love of these beasts, because it's even quoted in the trailer that there's no beast he couldn't love, is what she said in regards to Newt Scamander, and I love that. And so we're
love even the ugliest beast.
And so we're gonna keep seeing that. I feel like through all these films, and I like that. I'm really excited and love that about it. Nick, Matt, any other thoughts about it?
I'm gonna see it opening night. That's all I know.
It's gonna be good.
I'm excited.
This is one we might have to double. Well, you and me might have to go on a bro date. Yeah, know what I'm saying?
Bro date. No popcorn trick, Matt. No popcorn trick.
No popcorn
No,
trick.
just tell my secrets. Wait,
Joe. No matter what he says, the butter isn't at the bottom.
Okay. That's good.
And it's
all
not.
right.
It's not butter.
I'm on it. Don't even worry.
The next one, Matt. I'm gonna let you lead this one too. You actually told me about it and surprised the heck out of me, so I went and looked it up.
Oh, talking about Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You read my blips.
Yes. Bumblebee comes out, which I thought it was in September. I'm pretty sure they pushed it back,
Yes.
But it comes out in December, right about the same time Aquaman. And
That's crazy. Same day.
Okay, same day.
December 21st.
And it's slated in the 80s, and it has John Cena as an field agent, looking for Transformers. Obviously, this is prior to Optimus Prime getting there. And
Yeah, because in the first one... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, what the heck is her name? Haley Seyfried or Haley Seinfeld? Haley...
Are you
something.
talking about the actress?
Yes.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. She actually finds a bug, a.k.a. Bumblebee. So it's like the original Autobot Bumblebee, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a Transformers fan, that should hit you right in the feel of goods.
Right in the feels. I like it. I'm excited about this. This has an Iron Giant, callback anyone, feel to it, where a robot befriends a kid, and a government is chasing after it once it's discovered. So it's not a story that's never been told, but keeping with the time period of the 80s, giving it that human robot like sweet connection that it could have. I think this film has a lot of potential to be very endearing and kind of like a back to form for fans of the Autobots.
And not directed by Michael Bay.
And we're pulling away from the explosion-gasm of the last several films.
Yeah, it's going to be directed by Travis Knight.
Yes.
Yes, Travis Knight.
Known for some newer ones, mostly actual animated movies.
He directed Kubo and the
Kubo.
Two Strings.
Paranorman, Box Trolls.
He's a producer on those, yeah.
Caroline. He was in the animation department.
All of them. He's worked for Laika, which is the stop motion animation film production group. Under all those titles, yeah.
Which kind of gives me hope for this movie.
As far as the story, even like.
Well, all his movies have heart.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and with that, like this one kind of ties into the last Transformers movie, The Last Night, because they talk about Bumblebee being back in 1942 as a World War II Jeep and helping out defeat the Germans, 1945-ish.
Yeah.
Something about there, but he doesn't remember that part of his life, and with this 80s take on it, it kind of.
Do you think this will be before
the
damage? Do you think this will be before the damage?
I think so.
Damage of
his vocal.
A Bumblebee. He's never been able to talk. His vocal processor's been messed up.
Yes, and I don't think they're going to have him talk because the trailer shows him using the cassette player. She puts in a cassette tape, and he actually uses dialogue from the cassette tape to talk to her. So I don't think we're going to get his voice at all because even in the description it says... It says turning... Haley Steinfeld... Charlie, the character, on the cusp of turning 18 and trying to find her place in the world, discovers Bumblebee battle-scarred and broken. When Charlie revives him, she quickly learns this is no ordinary yellow Volkswagen Bug. So she finds him broken, and
this is after the damage.
Mm-hmm. And this is 1987, is exactly the time when this is taking place. So it doesn't look like. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get the Bumblebee we've already seen, which is going to make it a little bit kind of like an E.T. connection. A child trying to learn how to communicate with her new alien friend.
I don't think this is going to be the Bumblebee we've seen, because he's still the Volkswagen Bug. So he's going to have the look of the Volkswagen Bug, so he's not going to look as sleek as he does in the new movies. He's going to have those rounded features.
Right.
And it's almost going to give him more towards like a teen adolescent feel, the way he talks and the way he acts and stuff, because I don't think he's going to be pushed into the role he is now.
No, he's not with the group of Autobots. He's all by himself at this point, and he doesn't have any memory of why he's battle scarred and broken either. So,
but yeah, John Cena in it.
This is.
Yes, John Cena is in it.
A quick side note. This is kind of like... Bumblebee is basically kind of like a man out of time. Or the character is a character out of time. But more like a character with amnesia. So it's kind of just going to be like this timid robot trying to understand these humans, or this human who's befriending him, you know?
Yeah.
But I think this is all going to be the start of Sector 7.
Yes, this would be the start of Sector 7, because they Well, no. Sector 7 started back in 1945.
Oh, but it's going to be
The
a younger
resurgence,
version.
perhaps?
Maybe the resurgence.
Since John Cena is helming as an agent who's pursuing this.
Because remember, the Hoover Dam was built around Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before that.
In the
Or,
plot.
I mean, this is after that, but before that movie, the original Transformers.
Right, and
For
I mean...
sure.
And they talk about Sector 7 and...
Depending on how well this movie does, it may continue or rewrite the current the movie canon,
Right.
which is kind of what they were, I think, they were hoping for by letting Michael Bay move on with different things and trying to continue making Transformers a viable franchise.
Well, yeah, because they were wanting to slate 9 movies or 10 movies? 10 movies of Transformers.
It's always a 10-movie deal. What's going on, guys?
So this would be number 6, technically. The 7th one pretty much is on the hinges if this does good. Which, if any Transformer fan out there is an old school Autobot fan, they're going to be hyped for this movie. I know I am.
There's some solid promise behind the trailer.
Yes.
And the people behind it. That being said, Nicholas, take us forward, won't you?
Yeah. This one's going to be by 20th Century Fox. Comes out August 3rd of this year. It's coming right up. People have probably seen the trailer for it. It's just we haven't covered anything on it. This is called The Darkest Minds. I got a quick synopsis here of it that I can read. When teens mysteriously develop powers, new abilities, they are declared a threat by the government and detained. 16-year-old Ruby, one of the most powerful young people anyone has encountered, escapes her camp and joins a group of runaway teens seeking safe haven. Soon, this newfound family realizes that in a world in which adults in power have betrayed them, running is not enough, and they must wage a resistance using their collective power to take back control of their future. We got a lot of... What?
Sorry, man. I meant to interrupt you, but I just wanted to throw this out there. I did not realize what role she had played because obviously she's still a very young actress, but the lead female character, Amandla? I apologize to anyone that knows how to pronounce her name properly.
Stenberg?
It's got Amand L.A. is how her name is spelled, Amandla. Amandla Stenberg. Plays Ruby in this movie. The most notable role, I haven't seen the other films she's been in, but the one I'm most familiar with is her 2012 portrayal as the little frail girl known as Rue from The Hunger Games that Jennifer Lawrence befriended and who sadly got killed, but that's crazy. Anyway, she's clearly going to be doing a lot more movies down the line. Everything, which just came out last year. I haven't gotten to see it yet.
I actually saw that.
Was it good? Did you like it? Because it's about this girl who thinks she's sick and is being kept inside her home.
Well, she is sick.
Right. So it's kind of like that. That's like a coming of age movie. I don't mean to get on a big tangent, guys. But Matt, do you recommend that movie? On a side note,
I recommend it. It definitely touches the feels because it goes along with kind of the story, like a story of love that's very forbidden. And she's sick and meets this guy that's her next door neighbor. She's allergic basically to everything that's outside, pollen, whatever. Grass, sunlight, even. And her mom freaks out and whatnot, but at the end, she is fine, and yeah.
It's a good coming-of-age story with a lot of heart.
It is. On that note, with this movie coming out, what this kind of reminds me of, it's like X-Men meets...
It's being put out by 20th Century Fox, right, Nick? The darkest minds. And the first thing I said, like 2 seconds into the trailer when we see these kids with powers is like, prequel to the X-Men?
Well, what it reminds me of is like X-Men versus meets the Fifth Wave.
That's interesting. Are you basing that off your book knowledge or the films?
The book knowledge.
Okay, because I was like, I haven't seen the movies and they did not do that well.
The Fifth Wave, the books were really good.
What
it does is it's kind of the same thing where they're kids going out, figuring out things about the government that they don't really know what's going on. They just know that the adults get killed and the kids basically stay and being captured, and then they're used for government things. And it just kind of seems like that note, and with a slight taste of Divergent in that because you've got people that are force abilities, fire abilities,
man, dude,
that sort of thing. Sorry.
No. I'm not criticizing your divergence of this episode. I'm just like, man, there is a lot of post-apocalyptic storylines out there. A lot of young adult novels being produced left and right. 5 years ago, it was vampires. Now it's children surviving and taking out adults. Mm-hmm. But all joking aside, there's been a lot of good stuff out there. Nick, thoughts?
The Darkest Mind is actually a book series.
Yeah.
Right.
All of these movies, The Hunger Games, The Fifth Wave, those are all movies and they're all books. That's what I'm saying is like Hollywood's trying to eat up these young adult novels based on post-apocalyptic Earth.
Well, one of the things that
was pure. Yeah. But never mind, anyways.
One of the things I thought was interesting about this, and it kind of stirred the whole thought about the whole thing in my head, was it's from the producers of Stranger Things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And The Arrival.
The Russo brothers? Duffer Brothers. God, I'm stupid. We did a whole deep dive episode on it. The Duffer Brothers. That's cool. They told us because we knew they were doing some side projects outside of Stranger Things. Didn't know it was going to be this.
It almost makes me wonder if the whole idea of Stranger Things came from some of the powered people in this. Because the powers are similar. Well, we got through all the movie lists, so might as well talk about a few shows. Like Stranger Things 3, Season 3 coming. And there's a trailer that we've all talked about. Might as well throw it in there, right?
Hold on. Hold on. I just have to get my bearings for a second here.
You know where I'm going with this.
Listeners, I'm going to just peel back the curtain for a split second because I feel like it makes us connected to you guys a little more. Nick referenced not more than 3 minutes ago, unbeknownst to you because I cut it out, that there was a Stranger Things teaser that came out for Season 3.
Not Nick. It was me.
Nick. Matt. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Anyway, Matthew takes the credit here. Credit where credit is due. Matthew pointed this out, and me and Nick were like, "Well, pause. We're stopping. We're looking." And so we're gonna talk about that trailer briefly here. So let's talk about some TV show trailers that have us talking. All right, Nick, back to you.
Well, the Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah, Stranger Things. So
there's a teaser, but
let's give it context real quick, just briefly, just because I think it's crazy what they put out there. So Matt, you said Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. Middle of Comic-Con, they dropped this trailer, and it's like a straight 1980s TV commercial advertising the mall, a new shopping center where both adults, children, and yes, even teenagers can enjoy themselves and buy things of all kinds. I'm paraphrasing, but
in Hawkins.
in Hawkins, yes, right before the mall drop, they advertised the city of Hawkins, and fans at Comic-Con erupted, realizing Hawkins, whoa, this is something from Stranger Things, because the fandom is real, guys.
Yeah.
In short summary, it was the cheesiest, most 80s commercial you can imagine, showcasing all the features of what a mall is, because at the time, this was a very new concept. The food court, eating food, showing a pair of teenagers making out in front of the like a fountain. But they said where people can enjoy themselves, and they show a pair of teens kissing or whatever that was.
Yeah. And the name of the mall is Starcourt.
Starcourt. We gotta go space agey for this because it is the 80s. People in the 80s thought we were gonna be in space very soon.
And they had Sam Goody, and they had The Gap when it originally started. Yeah, it was pretty funny. You had like the old 80s things, Orange Julius coming out in the malls, and it was
classic.
Well, I heard you when I was up there.
And then you see Steve.
The greatest part of this whole trailer was just the awkward ass look
Ahoy.
of Steve behind the cash register of what could only be
It's an ice cream shop.
An ice cream shop.
Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy, and all he
holds out a
says,
thing, Ahoy.
with some other girl next to him, and he
Yeah,
just says Ahoy very awkwardly.
It was pretty funny. And what's really funny is everybody that knows Stranger Things and knows Hawkins, obviously they're trying to like hide what's been happening in Hawkins.
They're hyping up the fan base, and they didn't show anything about the actual story.
Yeah.
This will probably play a small part. It's just a reference to pulling the fans back into the backdrop of what is the 80s.
It almost looks like the town came into a lot of money somehow.
Government funding.
What happened here? Shameless plug. If you guys want to get ready for season 3, go check our deep dive out, episodes 21 and 22, I believe. We broke them up into 2 parts, but me, Lynn, and Nick did Stranger Things season 2. We did a recap of season 1.
Yeah.
And Matthew, we will make sure Matthew's in here for season 3.
I will be here.
He needs to be here, because I've greatly missed your perspective in all of this chaos.
Hey Matt, if you didn't know, on Hulu there's some new movies that came out. You can watch it now.
Dude, you can finally catch up on
really
that.
Hate you.
No,
we didn't.
I'm just want listeners. You guys recall we threatened the VR experience, but that didn't happen. You're still fine.
It's still not going to happen.
I still can't watch it.
Nick is being left out because of you, sir.
And I love
I
Stephen
don't
King.
really care. He will suffer.
What kind of friendship do you have with him to where you just throw him by the wayside?
I will not see that movie.
Matthew,
You should expect it from our soulless friend.
Red-headed ginger, would it help if all of us, including our wives, sat in front of a big TV during broad daylight with our children in the background and the volume turned way down?
Nope.
That
book's
you know what?
for life. I was 12 years old when I read it, and
Matthew, we're gonna get into the deep nitty gritty of what's really bothering you.
But you see, I made a promise. Now I can't watch it until you watch it with me.
Nick, on a side note, my wife pointed out that when our kids are acting crazy, almost on the level of psychotic, that there is a deeper underlying issue as to why they're lashing out.
Yes.
Now Matt isn't lashing out. It's quite the opposite. I think it works the same way. There's a deep-seated issue here that we need to uncover.
So
and then help him past.
Yes.
Like I said, the trailer, when that first came out, there was one part in that freaking trailer that was directly from the book.
I know what part you're talking about, and I'm I get it. We'll move on. Well, guys, it's been quite a night. You viewers at home have no idea how long we've recorded, and we're going to leave it that way. But that's going to conclude our movie trailer talk for this week. Guys, thank you for a wonderful episode 40. Matthew, thank you for opening us up here.
Yeah, even though it took me like 8
First time, almost 2 years in, and sadly only 40 episodes. That's what happens when you go bi-weekly.
Technically, it's my second time. The first time was actually like episode 3.
Way back in the day.
Yes.
If you guys care to check. That being said...
Frankie, you could tell me.
Yes, our fan Frankie should know. You've checked out all our content. Anyway. Guys, thank you for listening. You guys can catch us on all our social media, both at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's right, Matthew. I have an Instagram. We have an Instagram. You didn't know that until tonight. 40 episodes in.
And I was already following, which kind of makes me feel like a...
Embarrassed. I think embarrassed is a good word.
I said moron.
Well, that being said...
Both words.
You guys can find all our videos, podcasts, and external media, including articles, at a wonderful place called Nerdentialsmedia.com. That's right.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. That works. Nerdentialsmedia.com, guys. Go there. You can send us a direct email. You can see all our social media links. And that's where our YouTube videos and podcasts are also found. We're also on iTunes and Google Play and what have you. Guys, do us a favor and spread the word of Nerd. Give us a rating or even just give us a review or even just a rating. That's what I meant to go with. If you guys can't find the words on a review, just give us a star rating there on the old Apple iPods if you happen to be on there. Or podchaser.com is another good place. Give us some reviews.
Yes.
Help us be seen by more nerds by you. Also, guys, our Discord, which is a beautiful chat program, is enterable by the clickable link down below. Click on that Discord link and join the conversation. Click. For myself, Nick, and Matt, this has been your Nerdy Essentials, and as always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side. That was messy. Sorry.
We'll see you.
That was
on the other side.
Let's try it again. That'll be an outtake. Let's try it again.